Hi there. I thought I'd show you how to make crumble for those of you that don't know. I'll pin the recipe in the comment section so you don't have to worry too much. But to make one crumble you would need 200 grams of plain flour, 125 grams of butter or margarine, which is in here, and about 75 to 100 grams of sugar and about 50 grams of sugar, depending on how sweet you want your crumble. I'm making 1.5 times that today. So in my bowl I've got 190 degrees. I've got 190 grams of margarine, and I'm going to add 300 grams of flour. Like I said, this is plain flour. And I want to add a bit of wholemeal just to give it more of a nuttiness. I haven't got wholemeal, but I have got some spelt flour, so we'll top it up with that. Nearly there. Come on. Okay, that's all that done. Put this lot out of the way. Now we need to just slowly rub this in, which just means lightly squishing the fat. Keep your hands in the flour, then you don't get too sticky. What we're after are crumbs. A bit like breadcrumbs, doesn't matter if they're different sizes. A bit of melted butter, melted margarine in this case, is fine. Now I was getting the fruit ready for today, and I picked some rhubarb out the garden, and I thought I would steam it for a change because I only really wanted it half cooked. Well, I had a bit of a disaster, like you do. I'm very lucky that I've got a husband who will eat my disasters. I set the timer but forgot to set it going. All of a sudden I could smell rhubarb and I thought, what the heck's that? Yeah, it had dissolved into a mush. So instead of having some nice semi-cooked rhubarb pieces to go in here, we've basically got something that'll look like a porridge, but will still work. So if that happens to you, don't throw it away. Just keep going with it. Now, the reason why I'm using 1.5 times the base recipe is I want to get 2, possibly 3 crumbles out of this, because that's we like crumble. We don't want it to be all crumble. We find that a bit too much. But if you want to make the full amount of single amount of crumble with your fruit, that's fine. You do you. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Yeah, so although the fruit is now a disaster, it will get used because that would just be such a waste. It's my last lot of rhubarb, or should I say it's the first lot of rhubarb that I've harvested this year, and I wasn't going to waste it. Right, that's fine there. Just give my hands a wash. Right, just to add a little something, I've got about 2 to 3 tablespoons of chopped walnuts. You don't have to put those in. And I've got 75 grams of sugar. This should be 100 grams for 1.5 times the amount, but I've reduced it. I would normally use brown sugar, haven't got any, so I'm having to use white. So we toss that in there. Now, if you don't like you don't have to have nuts at all, but if you don't like walnuts, you can have sliced almonds. Now, if this was an apple crumble, I'd probably put cinnamon in here. And star anise goes quite well with rhubarb. But I don't think I've got any of that. Just go and have a lot. No, is the answer to that. Right. That's my crumble mixture. Like I said, you will get some big bits and some little bits. Now I'm cooking these in these freezer to oven and oven to freezer dishes. You can see the size they are by my hand. Don't know how deep they are, maybe 2 inches. Now to my disaster of a filling. Look at the state of that. What I've done to rescue it is I've chopped some dried apricots in and some sultanas, and then mixed in some cornflowers, and then just given it a quick microwave, and then I've left it to go. It's almost cold. Sweetened it as much as I'd like. It's a wee bit sour still, but like I say, I don't like using too much sugar. So, ploppy plop. It's only going to be enough filling for 2, as it happens. That's fine. And because it's so runny, it may well have a tendency to boil over. Just get a spatula. And if it boils over, that's also fine. Now, normally I would cook this in an oven at 190 for 30 to 35 minutes. But I'm going to do it in the air fryer. Now, air fryers having some big powerful fans in them, if I was to just put this crumble in, it would be all over the place, and I don't want that. So let's put this crumble on. I'm going to do, these are half cups, so it's the equivalent of a cup, and that will leave me enough left to make another one, but that can go in the freezer now. Just a smidge more in here. Now there's two schools of thought on Bramble. A lot of people like to mush it down, which if you're cooking in an air fryer certainly helps. So what I tend to do is give it a quick poke down, but not too hard, because if you push it down too hard, you'll end up with a bit like a shortcake or a shortbread filling, topping. Then I will just lightly fork over there. Put that back. Now, because it's going in an air fryer, I've got to protect it from the fan. So what I like to do is, I can't put the lids on because the lids are plastic. Just scrunch that. Underneath. Do the other one. Tuck it under that lip, try and keep it in place. Right, let's just clean my mess up. Move those out of the way one moment. Right, so I'm going to cook it in my kasori again. And I'm just going to see whether I can get, both of them in. I'm not sure I will be able to. No. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to cook that for, I'm going to set my air fryer going at 190 on bake, and I'll check it after 15 to 20 minutes. And if it looks like the crumble is settled down, I'll take the foil off to finish browning it. So I'll see you back then. And here we are. They are finally finished. I remembered now that I meant to cook them in my Ninja because that has 2 separate trays. So I could have done them both for the same time. It actually took 20 minutes, 10 minutes with the foil on, 10 minutes with the foil off. And when you see the juice starting to pop up here like that, and obviously they're brown, they are done. And the leftover mix has gone there, and that will go in the freezer. So what to have with them? We always have custard with ours, but you could have cream, you could have plain Greek yogurt or vanilla ice cream, something that's plain and simple, because you really want to be able to taste the crumble. This will do my husband and I for 2 separate meals, because when we have one of these with custard, it is a meal. We don't have anything else with it, so we would have half each. So I hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.